All right, JHK here for the South China Morning Post, SCMP MMA, and I got with me today, man. It's a pleasure. Former WEC UFC lightweight champion, current PFL lightweight contender. That's a lot of stuff right there. Anthony Showtime Pettis, what's
Yeah,
going on, man?
man, I'm just chilling. Just blessed to be here.
For sure, man. Before we get into the fight, man, I wanted to congratulate you on getting appointed the Gamma USA Athletes Commission. How did that all get
Yeah.
to get put together?
My coach, man, you know what? I think at this stage of my career, I'm looking to like find things I can actually, give back to. And obviously I got my gyms back home. I got like stuff like that, but like making mixed martial arts Olympic sport and like making it so easier for these kids to actually become, fighters. It's something I want to attach myself to when it's all said and done. So my coach gave me the opportunity. Duke Rufus is all about that. He comes from a traditional martial arts background, kind of like myself. So we're all about that, giving back to the kids and making sure there's a path that they can, come up on.
Yeah, it's great to see that because I feel like a lot of fighters and even kids, man, they've been misled in
Oh
the
yeah,
history of the sport, right?
man, the sport's kind of a free for all. It's growing
Yeah.
so quick and it's so young of a sport that there's like, there's really no requirements to be an agent, to be a manager, to be a coach, to be a fighter for that much. It's kind of just a free for all. So it's cool to see where the sport is right now, man. When I started, my gym, we would have 15, 20 guys in the mat. I thought that was a big class. Now we got 100 people in classes. Everybody wants to train and do mixed martial arts. So it's amazing to see. It's for me. I'm blessed, man. Like I was in a perfect situation coming from a traditional martial arts background, having my gym, and then having the career I had and still am having. It's just a blessed journey.
We got the OGs like Hoist Gracie, but do you feel like you're an OG in this sport too, in
It's
your own
crazy to
way?
say it, man. It's crazy to say it, but yeah, I am an OG. When you look at it, bro, I've fought everybody, and I did
Yeah.
it pretty quick. I'm only 34 years old, so I feel like when I say like I'm an OG of the game, like I am, man. It's crazy. I've been around for a while, and I fought everybody. So yeah, I think I'm finally accepting that role as like the guy who like even at the PFL, like when I'm here, like everybody's like, oh man, want to take pics, and like I'm like, you guys are on the same card as I'm on, but it's cool, bro. It's for like I really truly feel blessed to be in the position I'm in.
The respect is there, of course, man. Now,
For sure.
in the past, you've competed at lightweight and welterweight. Why did you decide to, compete at lightweight for the season?
Yeah, I actually competed at lightweight, featherweight, and
Oh,
welterweight.
that's
So
right.
I
That's
competed
right.
in
That's
three
right.
different weight
That's right.
classes in the UFC. Well, lightweight's my home, but I think I was taking fights out of the lightweight division just because I fought everybody there. I was in there so long. I fought the who's who of that division. And then there was some bigger name fights in 170, like Wonder Boy Thompson. That was a fight that I had to fight. Nate Diaz. It didn't go my way, but still, like, big names like that. Like when my career is all said and done, I can truly say I never turned down a fight. I fought everybody in their prime, in their best. So I'm proud of that of myself. And I did damn good too, man. Like not too many people can even say they even got a finish over me or got a submission. It's rare, in my career. And if you do it as long as I have and fight the names that I fought at the level I fought, you're bound to have some bad days, man. So I'm learning to balance that. Like on my bad days, I still need to have to beat guys with my C game. Like if I show up and the weight cut wasn't right or like I hurt my big toe, like anything could happen. But like being able to mentally pull myself together and use my C game to beat their A game, that's my new like vibe I'm on now.
Do you feel like the fight IQ is still developing even though you are an OG?
Man, and it's changing, like with these low calf kicks. Obviously there's so many different disciplines you can master. But I feel like I'm perfecting my style now. I had a flashy style and I have like a crazy striking style, great submissions off my back. But my hole was getting stalled out. When guys would get on top of me, they'll stall me out, they'll put me on the fence. So I'm coming up with protocols and like game plans and scenarios to fix that hole. And in practice, it's working, man. So I'm excited to go out and do it in the fight.
Speaking of striking, man, your opponent coming up on April 23rd, Clay Collard, he's a striker. I feel like this is
Yeah,
like the perfect skill set for yourself to introduce you to
yeah.
everybody in the organization.
Oh man, I can't wait, bro. Like a guy like him, he's one of them dudes that just likes to fight. Like he's fought in the UFC, he's boxed. I mean, he's just a combat sports athlete. But unfortunately for him, I'm just too sharp right now, man. My mindset, and that's what it's all about. Like my mindset. Like when everybody asks me, like, "Hey, have you watching his fights? Have you?" Nah, I haven't. Like I'm not really concerned with his skill set. I know what level I'm fighting at, and I know what level I've been fighting at. And the mistakes I've been making is letting my mind wander, in these fights. I'm thinking of other stuff. I'm not putting the same thought process I did, as younger in my career. I was so obsessed with it. All my thoughts were about becoming a champion. And then as you go through it and you get older and you become the champion and you do the things that you set out to do, then thoughts start going in other directions. And then when you're trying to focus, if you're not 100% focused, let's say we get 1 hour of practice. If I drift for 30 minutes, I just missed 30 minutes of a potential, way to whip this guy's butt. So I like, I've attached myself to that. Like, how mentally am I into these practices? Like, how long did I last there? Like, what made me drift, pulling myself back? And then I did it in my last fight too. So it's crazy to see like that side of the game working.
Well, you're in quarantine and you've been going down to practice inside the PFL cage. Does it smell different? Does it feel any different to you?
Yeah, it does, man. Like the floor's different, the shape's different, the people are different, and that's what I think why I'm so sharp right now, man. Like it's a little bit of nerves, a little bit of I got something to prove. I got a chip on my shoulder, and I love being in these positions. I think that's why my nickname is Showtime, because when the pressure's on, I perform.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're gonna fight, and there's not much time between fights. So does that change anything in your approach with the training camp?
It did. I got to be a little more smart in my approach. And it kind of reminds me of like my Taekwondo days. Because like in Taekwondo, you had to chase points. So like the last 10 guys with the most points in the world would fight at the end of the year. And that's what I grew up doing, So I was chasing tournament points, and we didn't have much time between tournaments, because if you lost or you got a bad score, you had to go to the next tournament the next weekend to replace that. So I kind of feel like I'm on that vibe again. And my coach, Duke, he grew up in the same tournament circuit. So we kind of feel like, when we do this fight, we're right back into training camp. And the scary thing is, and I keep telling everybody this, I'm about to get good as hell. I haven't trained 6 months, 8 months straight, and I don't know how long, because in the UFC, I would get an injury, I'd take 2 months off, or, take some time off to see what's next. Whereas now I'm going to be forcing myself to get right back to work and progressing and getting better. And that's kind of another big reason why I took this opportunity. I'm like, man, I want to see how good I can really get when I'm fully dedicated and I'm on this mat and I'm training.
Pretty much putting yourself in that zone for an extended period of time, right?
Living there. I'm living there, man. And then that's the hard part. It's like living in that fearful, anxious, but making it calm and pure. And that's what I'm in the process of doing. And when you find it, man, it's like, whoa, it's like a flow state of like no other. It's like you're not judging yourself on like people's perception of like, how do I look, or how's my technique? Like, you're just in a flow state where nothing matters. And I'm finding it. And when I get there, man, it's just like anything can happen. And it's scary, bro. It feels good to see it, and to feel it, and like, it just feels like greatness.
Well, we've seen it from you, what I mean? We've seen you get in that zone.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's always been there.
Spectacular, man. Some of the stuff.
Really, it's just like, it was just a mental disconnect. I was like, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know there. Like, I just started speaking to this like a mindset coach, a sports psychologist, and they put me on the path and journey of finding my mental side. And I didn't even know about this game, man. Like, when I was introduced to it, I was like, holy shit, bro, this is like a whole nother weapon that most fighters don't even know exist. And once you can control your thoughts and you can bring yourself back from a negative thought or a bad injury or something that didn't go your way, if you can bring yourself back to that present moment, oh man, it's so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. It's like Jordan when he throws up shots and he can't miss,
Man, that's once you find that flow state, and that's in martial arts with my style, it just looks so beautiful. And I'm watching my workouts from this week. I'm just like, I'm impressed with myself. I'm like, man, that technique is clean.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the type of scenario that's playing out in your head against Clay Collard, what do you see? What do you envision?
Oh man, I'm gonna go make my name. Like, this is like Anthony Pettis PFL. Pettis Fight League coming up right now, man. Like, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to be like fancy and like do a Showtime kick or something like that. But at the same time, that's what's gonna happen. Like, the way I'm flowing and the way I'm moving, like, this guy has nothing for me, man. Like, there's nothing he can do that I haven't seen before. I've been in there with the best of the best, bloody faced up and still coming forward. So it's not like he's going to out-tough me. He's not going to outwork me. He doesn't have better technique than me. So I'm going to go out there and really just let loose and be free.
For sure. Now, I just wanted to pick your brain on a couple other topics. Like Khabib, he recently retired. And, there's all this talk about him being the lightweight GOAT. Do you think he had, much more to accomplish to take that moniker?
I think so. I mean, and I'm not being a hater. I think what he did is amazing. And the fact that he retired undefeated and he could do that and be like, that's a great ego check for him. Like, he's like, yo, he could be the man of all men right now. He's the champ of the world. And he's like, yo, I'm going to retire. I respect that. That takes a certain type of person to be like, yo, I did what I had to do. Nothing else for me to prove. But, the way he won the belt. I mean, he beat against Ella Quinta. I feel like, okay, that was one way that's kind of like, it was kind of a gimme, like that. Most guys had to earn that, but whatever. Like he did his thing, and then he defended against Connor. Then he defended against Gaethje. So he's fought some good names, but I mean, there's some killers out there in that division that he didn't cross paths with.
And I feel like your name doesn't get brought up enough, in the conversation, especially with the accolades and the strength of schedule that you've gone through. Does it kind of ever annoy you or bother you that this is the case?
No, man. I think my time was a little sooner than Khabib's time. I think there was more eyes on the sport when Khabib became the champion. When I was the champion, and the way I did it, man, if the same amount of eyes were on the sport then, oh man, I'd be in a totally different spot. But everything happens for a reason, bro. I feel like I'm finding myself again at the right time.
Well, Khabib doesn't have a Wheaties box, man. Come on.
Yeah, bro. I was definitely blessed, man. I tell everybody, I'm like, yo, my whole career from the UFC, from WEC to now the PFL, I've been blessed, and I work my butt off. I make sure that I provide a great service for whoever I'm competing with, and I think if I attach myself to my services, the money will come, the fame will come. All that comes with me having a great service.
Your name was mentioned, man, in this Oscar De La Hoya sweepstakes, and now you got Chuck Liddell and Eddie Alvarez, and even like Tyron Woodley talking about fighting Oscar De La Hoya. If you could do matchmaking, right, for Oscar De La Hoya, who would you put him against?
Yeah, me, man. I mean, that makes the most sense. Eddie's a wrestler. Tyron Woodley's a wrestler. Chuck is a heavyweight, but he has no chin. I mean, he's just a little older, man. It's like, I'm not talking shit, but it's just like, his last couple fights he got knocked out. I don't want to see. No one wants to see that, man. Like, I don't want to. He's a legend. Like, let him be a legend, and so is De La Hoya for that matter. But I'm the striker out of the group. It was in the talks. We were in the works, and I'm kind of being quiet about it right now, just because I got my tournament in front of me, and I don't want to like distract myself on something like that. But bro, that would be a dream come true. Oscar De La Hoya, what? For me to fight against him, like when that talk was happening, man, I was so excited. I was like, yo, I'll do it before the tournament season. Like, let's get it in April. I'll start my tournament season, and I'll have 5 fights this year. But we'll still see. I think this season's gonna end in October, so I'll still have the full end of the year to see. Play around, have some fun, and do some other things.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you get that opportunity, man, to just branch out and Triller, man, they're growing promotion, they're making waves. What are your thoughts on the impact of that promotion and what impact they will have in the combat world?
Man, some people hate, like a lot of fighters hate on it, like the Ben Askren and Jake Paul thing. I love that, man. Like the fact that Ben Askren can go make $1 million to box. He's my former teammate. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody would have came and said, hey, in 10 years, Ben Askren's going to box for $1 million. I'm like, get out of here. But the fact that, he's getting that opportunity, man, just shows all of us athletes that the money's out there. Like he had to fight Masvidal and then Damian Maia in the UFC, some killers. And he probably made, I don't know his money. I'm not going to speak on his money, but this fight he's making $1 million plus. And from what he said, out of his mouth, this is his biggest payday. Good for him, man. Like, and if they're doing that for these guys, man, I respect it. The fact that us fighters have choices now and we can go to different organizations, good for everybody.
You're a perfect example of that, man. Perfect example of
for sure.
That'd be able
Thank
to go
you,
out
man.
there and branch out.
I think I did that for a reason too, man. I was like, yo, I sent my brother out of the UFC because the deal that Bellator gave him, and I think everybody thought I was gonna follow Sergio to Bellator, like follow that path. But man, I like Sergio having his own name. Like Sergio's over at Bellator, and he's Sergio Pettis. He's not Anthony Pettis' little brother, and I love that for him. I feel like he's like he feels like the man over there. And even when I corner him, I just go out the last day, just show him some support. Like I want him to feel like his own man, and like he earned that, and that's what he has at Bellator. So I went to PFL, and I think a lot of fighters are seeing that. There's like, why did he go? And not only obviously financially, but the opportunities us fighters have, we got to put ourselves in spots that we can take them. For
sure, man. And he's about to fight for the title too.
The Pettis household is having a good year, bro. We're gonna have a great year. Two world champions in 1 year.
For sure, man. Appreciate it, man. April 23rd, PFL season starts. Anthony Showtime Pettis, man. It was a pleasure.
You guys tune in. Thank you, bro.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.